Hey everybody, Chuck McGregor, Parsons MILVET Director. Thanks for joining us today. We've got another RallyPoint video cast series. And what we do in these are basically showcase some of the great things that Parsons veterans are doing and how they're giving back to their communities, and just kind of unraveling what they've done in their career, what their path has been to getting to Parsons, and sharing that with you. And today we've got Justin Payne. Justin graduated from Mount Si High School in Snoqualmie, Washington. He served in the U.S. Army as an engineer, and he deployed on 3 combat tours to Iraq and 1 to Afghanistan. He's joined Parsons in 2020 through the SkillBridge program, and now is a regional construction manager on our TSSC-4 contract. Really excited to have Justin aboard here today. Justin, thanks for joining.
Hey, how's it going, Chuck? Thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited to kind of let everybody know, what Parsons is doing and what the MILVET program is doing. So thanks for having me, sir.
You bet. Hey, I like to start these by just going back and in time, and just tell us about where you grew up, where you're from, and how you got to the Army.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from a small town, like you said, Falls City, Washington. There wasn't really a whole lot going on out there. And, growing up of a child of the era I was, I wasn't doing too much. And my dad said, hey, let me tell you what you're not doing. You will not be living here rent-free if you're not going to college, and I didn't really have the aspirations for college at that time. And I went into the lunchroom one day and there was an Army recruiter, and I thought he looked cool. And I was like, hey, what do you got? And we started talking, and I was like, maybe this is a great fit for me. And so he followed me home that day, told my dad, hey, there's somebody that wants to meet you in the parking lot. And there was the Army recruiter. And that was kind of the beginning of my career. It was spontaneous and it was exciting. And it actually gave me, some purpose and some direction. Never planned on staying in for very long. And then I met the great brothers and sisters, of the Army, and it became something, about something that's bigger than me. I was a part of something that wasn't just about me. And each time I re-enlisted, I was either overseas in Korea or Iraq. And it was because of what I was doing and the people I was around that made me want to stay for 23 years.
That was pretty cool. So you just showed up at home with a recruiter. What did your dad say?
He came out and he's like, oh, what did he do? I wasn't a bad kid, but I really wasn't going anywhere yet, And then he was like, hey, I was talking to your son in the lunchroom at high school, and, he thought this might be good for him. And my dad's like, well, where do I sign? Because I was still under 18 at the time. And next thing you know, about a month or 2 after high school, I was gone. And
Wow.
I joined, and I never looked back. And I think it was probably one of the best decisions that I ever made. Falls City and North Bend and Snoqualmie is a very small area. It has since grown into, a mecca, but I think it was a good direction at the time for me, and kind of made me who I am today.
Tell me about, yeah, absolutely. Tell me about how you transition, or how you went into engineering, and from a career standpoint. What did that entail from a school point? And then, operationally, I guess some of the highlights would be eventually your deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. Take us through that process and in the engineer career.
Yeah, so I started out, so I joined as an equipment operator because I thought it offered me a avenue of approach to attain skills that would be applicable to the civilian world after I got out. And so that is kind of the driving force into what MOS I chose, MOS being military occupational specialty. So I started out as an equipment operator, running dozers, loaders, graders, scrapers, high axis, stuff like that. And how we apply that in the military is obviously very different than the civilian sector, but it gave me a great base to work off of. And that was kind of my junior, my junior exploits as a soldier. And then as you begin to grow in rank, from the lower enlisted to a NCO, you start getting more responsibilities, and now you're leading those missions of what are we doing with the equipment? How are we applying it? And then you continue to grow in rank and responsibility, and now you're planning those missions, and you're thinking more from a strategic standpoint. So the military really gave me a great base to understand what to do, how to do it, and then how to apply it.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, and an interesting side note, when we were prepping for this call, we realized that we shared some of the same dirt in the Diyala province in Iraq. Can you just talk about what your mission was when you were in Iraq, and just how it prepared you for dealing with pressure and working in austere environments here with Parsons?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of my deployment time as an Army engineer was doing route clearance, which is, looking for roadside bombs and either disrupting them, having EOD come in, dismantle them, or blowing them up ourselves. That really gets you ready for high pressure, if anything, that I know of, Chuck. So that really helped me deal with the pressure of, what T4 is about, what Parsons is about, and how to navigate, the pressures in a construction environment. I did get to do several construction projects in, deployed locations like the Diyala province, like you said. One of those being our base continually ran out of water. We didn't have any type of water collection system. We didn't have a very sustainable operation to make sure the base had water. And one of the things that my boys and I were tasked with was we needed to create a couple million-gallon water reservoir. That way we had a stockpile of water to provide for everyone on that base. So things like that, and there is no engineering, there's no design, there's nothing that we get the luxuries of at Parsons. It's, hey, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Let's put this together. We need to start tomorrow. So pressures like that, I think, allow me to be a little bit more flexible with Parsons. And, I would not have had those opportunities or pressures, without being in the military. So definitely, I think it helped me prepare.
Yeah, I think being able to keep your head under extreme circumstances or tight deadlines with serious ramifications if things get screwed up are definitely some traits that we bring out of the military. Hey, so Justin, let's fast forward a little bit because it's pretty important to note that you were one of Parsons' very first SkillBridge fellows, and a lot of folks or a lot of organizations call them internships. We call them fellowships just because the level of experience that we're getting from the candidate, the military service member, is just so much higher than we would normally expect in a regular internship program. So we call it a fellowship here. But just tell us about how you learned about the SkillBridge program and what you ended up doing here at Parsons during your program.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. My last job in the military is really what led me to understanding what the SkillBridge program was. So my last position in the military I was the credentialing program manager for the engineer regiment. Very long title, but basically boiled down, it means I bring civilian opportunities and education to the military, meaning I'm kind of bridging the gap between what civilians do and what military does, and trying to make military service members more marketable for when they exit the military. But I'm giving them opportunities to possess better skills to better help the military while they're in. Part of that was working with the education centers, understanding educational programs. And once I got into the education centers, I realized there was this thing called SkillsBridge, and I knew nothing about it. So I kind of started adding that to my briefs to, all the soldiers that I talked to. Hey, anybody that's transitioning out of the military, whether you're retiring, whether you've had 4 years of service or 30 years of service, this is an opportunity for you to get out there and kind of test drive the car. Go see a company, get to know them, see if it's a good fit for you. And it also gives the company a good opportunity to see if you're a good fit for them. And it kind of broadens your horizons, for lack of a better term, of what your expectations may be as a civilian.
So Justin, last year in 2021, we actually completed 21 SkillBridge fellowships in Parsons. And a lot of this was set on the foundation of lessons learned when you first came over to Parsons through the SkillBridge program. So I'd just like to say there's at least 21 of us out here that would like to thank you for being a pathfinder from that respect. And thank you for continuing your support of that program. Tell us about what you do now with FAA TSSC.
Okay. Yes, sir. Before I move into that, I'd like to say thank you to, obviously to you for helping me, get into this program when I came on. But I'd like to give a big shout out to, Heather Shin and Darnell for bringing me in. Heather was kind of my bridge to Parsons. We got introduced through like our network, basically. And she's the one that really brought me onto the program, linked me up with you, sir. And then Darnell with TSSC4 kind of really brought me into the fold and got me into the Kansas City office where I am now. So big thank you to them. I could not have been successful without them. So thank you. Fast forwarding to where I am now. So I came on as a construction manager and it for Central, and has since grown into being the construction manager for Central and Great Lakes, and then taking on a functional manager role as well. My daily duties consist of scheduling, dealing with resource management, people management, making sure that all of our risk documents are in place, double checking everything, quality control. I'm kind of the checks and balances to everything that's going on. But I definitely could not do what I do without the people around me. And, Parsons, I couldn't have found a better home. I'm very happy. And I know it's kind of cliche for people to say, hey, I'm really happy at work, but I am. I wake up happy to go to work every day. And Parsons has kind of gave me that home away from home, because when you're in the Army, they become your family. And when you spend 23 years with an organization, you kind of feel a little bit tied to that family. And I feel like I've found that with Parsons. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And now what's great also is you're paying it forward by bringing us other incredible service members to take advantage of this program as well. And pretty excited about that. You've also put together what is really shaping up to be a great construction management development program. And I'm really excited to see how that works here with some of our next SkillBridges under you. So thank you for that. I'd like to move forward to another area where you're making a big impact, Justin, and that's with the SAME organization. Can you talk about SAME and who they are, what their mission is, and your involvement in them? Please.
Yeah, absolutely. The Society of Military Engineers, I really didn't learn about them until later in my career. I wish I would have learned about them earlier, because they have great programs for the lower enlisted all the way, up to career, NCOs and officers across all branches. They're not just Army. They do work with all branches, but they have done some amazing things. They have spearheaded some of the programs that we now take advantage of as service members, helping us get apprenticeship time. There are programs that now SAME is kind of spearheaded with the military to allow service members to get apprenticeship time through, what we're doing on a daily basis. So things like that. They're helping with recruitment seminars, bringing civilian entities together with military service members, whether they're transitioning after 4 years or 30 years. And they're really trying to tackle that same thing that we are, that critical infrastructure, monster that's out there that we all need to be a part of to continue to move forward as a society. So through them, they've really been able to help me not only get to where I am today, but help me help others to try to get, ahead in their careers or after they have transitioned out of the military.
Yeah, Parsons is involved in a ton of different chapters with SAME, and we've got that national career conference coming up next month, which is going to be great in the Maryland area. So good stuff there. Hey, Justin, it's really been great working with you. Since you came to Parsons, you've always just been a breath of fresh air, bringing energy and positivity to all of our conversations. And I just thank you for being a great pathfinder for the SkillBridge program, getting us introduced and heavily integrated in SAME. And then, of course, bringing other veterans to Parsons. You've been a great ambassador for Parsons and for the Army. And I just wanted to say thanks for that. And thanks a lot for your time today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing a great partnership with the MILVET program, helping out you, SAME, and continuing to, do great things for Parsons, sir. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody. That's it for today. We'll have another video next month spotlighting a Parsons veteran who's out there hooking and jabbing, getting it done, and making a difference. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.